Hey, how's it going, guys? Pizza here. Just wanted to briefly go over DSP's insane charity rant from the final Forza stream on the night stream on December 16th. I know I haven't been making a ton of videos lately. I basically had to essentially determine if I wanted to spend time on video stuff or restreaming stuff, and I just have so much fun restreaming. So I've been doing that mostly. But whenever there's something that I feel like I can comment on, I feel like I should. So the way this video is going to be structured is I've got the entire kind of section that stood out. We're just going to kind of go through it, kind of like super crazy style or Shinko style. Those guys have it down, so hopefully it's not too bad. But yeah, this whole thing is worth a listen. It's very interesting. So why don't we go ahead and get started here?
Thank you for the tips. Now we're up to $2 in tips tonight. And Cracker Jacks did a super chat during this race so far and says, "Happy holidays. Have you thought of doing a charity Christmas stream and donating proceeds to local food bank or homeless shelter?" Cracker Jacks, I don't know how often or how far back you've watched my content. But I've talked about charity work before, and my opinion on charity work is thus. Charity should be done privately. I spelled your name wrong. I'm going to fix that. Charity should be done privately. It should not be done publicly, because when you do charity publicly, it's for personal gain. I hate to say it. Like, you're trying to look good, right? You're trying to, I want to look good publicly. I want to look like a good guy. Okay, I got scared. Okay, I got scared there. I thought I redid the whole race. For me, that's what charity is about. It's about when you do charity stuff, okay? You're doing it because you want to do a good deed. You're doing it because you want to help someone else, right? And if you're going to do charity, you shouldn't make a public thing out of it. Now, the thing is, tons of people, as well as corporations, all do charity publicly. Oh, a public drive, a public stream, a public event, you know, this and that. I don't like that. If I'm going to do charity, which, by the way, it's up to me if I do it or not, and I have done charity in the past, it's not up to you to know or care about if I do charity stuff or not, okay? Just being honest, it's my business, not anyone else's. Okay, I will keep it private and I will do it for myself, and I would probably not do it as a public event for many reasons. The first being my own personal philosophy about charity. I feel that if you're doing charity work, or you're donating money or resources or anything to a charity, it should be a personal sacrifice for you. That's number one, because you're giving of yourself to help others, right? But on top of that, you should not benefit in any way, shape, or form from doing it. So for example, if you do charity, and the only reason you're doing it is because you get a giant tax write-off as a result, you shouldn't do it. You should be doing it as a sacrifice to yourself. You see what I'm saying? That's my personal philosophy. And you want to know the truth? It's probably because I was raised as a Roman Catholic Christian. And in Christianity, that's actually exactly what they teach, is that it's supposed to be an act of humility. It's supposed to be an act of giving of yourself. It's not supposed to be, oh, you're doing it to get ahead. You're doing it to look good, to save face, because you get some kind of a fucking crazy benefit out of it. It's supposed to be you're doing it to help others, right?
So a couple things to address there. His first statement about, hey, I want to do it private. Anyone who does it public is doing it for, I guess, clout or recognition or something to that effect. It's a very obviously misguided sort of statement. What Phil should understand is, as a content creator with supposedly hundreds of thousands of followers, subscribers, that sort of thing, what he's able to do that the average person is unable to do is put a lot of eyes on something, essentially shine a spotlight on something. And he can use the media platform that he's on, in this case YouTube, to essentially direct attention to, in this case, some kind of charity. And by doing so, he can direct more money, crowd-funded money, as he might say, to that source, more so than he can individually give himself. So if, let's say, DSP was going to donate, I don't know, $1,000 to Doctors Without Borders, it might be reasonable to assume that if he did for example, 24-hour charity marathon, stream with all proceeds going to Doctors Without Borders, then he can generate more revenue towards that charity for that work being done. I can almost guarantee you that if he does that, which he never will do, but if he did do that, he would get $1,000 plus to that charity. I also want you to kind of lock into your memory here that this entire segment that we just listened to talked about his kind of this personal philosophy of hey, I was raised this way to give to charity of my own volition, to keep it private, to never discuss it with anybody. And the reason that I don't give to charity, or I don't publicly give to charity, I don't announce that I'm giving to charity. And again, holding a charity event is different than giving to charity yourself and telling everybody, hey, everybody, I'm giving to charity. So he's misconstruing those two things, right? But anyway, that aside, I want you to keep in your mind that bit, because his story is going to change from here on out, I believe. So listen closely.
Mother Teresa dedicated her entire life to charity, right? And that's true charity. Not, oh, you know, I happen to be a popular streamer and I did a donation drive with my viewers and they all donated money and somehow it went to a charity. That's, you know what I mean? Like, to me, that's not even charity. Just being honest. That's number one, okay? Now, outside of that, there was a time many years ago, all right, when I was actually going to do a charity event, even though it goes against my personal philosophy of what charity should be. I felt that I had enough influence, that I had enough popularity, that if I did a charity event, that maybe the benefits outweigh the fact that maybe it would make me look good. Because I didn't want to look good by doing it, but I thought, okay, maybe if I help enough people through doing it or whatever, then that's fine. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so that bit right there is what I was describing, right? Anybody who cared about getting money to a charity that they, you know, believed in, they would be able to use their platform to bring funds to that charity, to bring eyeballs to that charity. Because, you know, let's say I watch DSP and I like watching DSP, and he says, hey, I'm going to be holding an event for this charity, Doctors Without Borders. And he talks about why this charity matters to him. And me being a layperson, I may not know about Doctors Without Borders. And DSP describes it to me, hey, that sounds like a charity that I want to support, right? And so I will divert money to them. So he's essentially advertising on their behalf. The clout associated with it shouldn't really even be on his radar, to be quite honest. But it's interesting that he puts that in the forefront. But this entire next segment is going to completely divert from that first bit, where it was a personal choice, a personal philosophy. Because again, he's apparently made this decision in the past that he would go against his philosophy for some reason back then and not now. And he's going to talk about why. And this is going to be the main focus of this whole thing from now on. So remember, in the beginning, personal philosophy, personal choice, and now it's going to be this.
So I was planning a charity event, and I'm not going to go into the full details of it. This is many years ago. I was planning a charity event where not only was I going to do an over 24-hour long stream, but at times I was going to have special other guests, people who I knew from the industry. Whether it was people who I had done stuff with before, who were going to be special guests, or other people who were streamers and stuff, were going to actually join me and help me out because I want to take a break or whatever. Obviously, someone could tag in for like a half an hour while you take a break or whatever, right? So I had stuff, I was in the planning stages. I actually had at least one guy who was signed up to do it, and someone else who I was talking with to do it. Okay. And I even had a charity picked out that I was going to donate to and everything. All this was planned and ready to go. Okay. Incidentally, the same year that I was planning this was the year when somehow the toxicity against me on the internet exploded in exponential amounts of ways. Okay. That same year that I was trying to plan this event, I was DDoS attacked for about 2 straight months, to the point where I finally figured out, wow, someone must have gotten my IP, and I had to change my IP address completely by having someone replace my modem who worked with the cable company. It was a big ordeal, because my cable company is stupid, and basically doesn't have the ability to just change your IP address on the fly. It was a big ordeal. So first there was that, then I was swatted, okay, which I couldn't believe, but it actually happened. I was actually fucking swatted here. Then that was also the year when there was an organized attack against me where people actually pretended to be fans and submitted a bunch of fan art for my streams, which then they proceeded to copyright strike on YouTube.
So I'm going to pause here real quick, since DSP is getting really deep into the weeds here. Remember, the initial question was talking about getting money to charity. Like in hosting a charity stream of some, like even a basic one, right? He's describing this giant event he had planned in the past with multiple personalities coming in, a very long duration stream, switching people in and out, that sort of thing. All these things, and he's going to talk about how the trolls ruined it. Like at the end of the day, it always ends up becoming about he's a victim, as we'd expect, of course. So what I want people to consider here is he can literally hold a normal stream, like the exact same hours as he would stream, and just tell them, hey, I'm going to remove the tips goal. Okay, it's going to be an open-ended tips goal. Any money that I receive during this stream will be donated to X charity, right? He receives tips immediately. He can receive all the tips, turn around, and then donate those tips to charity. It's kind of an inefficient method because it'll be, you'll have to pay PayPal fees twice. There's an easier way to do it, which I'll show you a little bit later. But if he was too dumb to do it that way that I'll show you, he can do it the caveman way, which is just get the tips to him and then send those tips off to charity. Because when, and you'll say, oh, what if he's taxed on that money? He won't be, because when he donates that money to charity, he'll donate it himself. And so that money that he sends will be deductible. It'll be a tax write-off. So it'll cancel it out. So he won't pay taxes on it, right? But no, what he's doing is he's just vomiting this word salad of how much of a victim he is and how much trolls ruined everything, to, I don't know, confuse you or something. But yeah, we'll get to the bottom of this.
Which that was what actually destroyed DSP Gaming from being a popular YouTube channel, because that was the time when it got knocked out of search results and everything on YouTube. I don't want to go on about that and talk about it at length, but basically, here I am, all right? I'm planning this year is going to be a great positive year. For the first time ever, I'm gonna bite the bullet, and I'm gonna go against my own personal philosophy to try to help others. I'm gonna do a charity event, and I'm gonna do this and that. I'm planning all this stuff, and all this negative shit happens to me all within a 6-month span. And I'm thinking to myself, how the holy hell could I ever do a charity event? You know exactly what would happen if they're willing to do all these things to break the law to try to hurt me. You know they would do absolutely everything they possibly could to make sure that event fails. Whether it be DDoSing, whether it be fucking, with me, and maybe even, doing nasty stuff with the charity. Who knows what it would be, right? But when I saw the level of hatred that was thrown at me that year on the internet, I was like, there is no possible fucking way that I would ever have a successful charity event. And I was, at that time...
I want to point out something here, too. Detractors would never purposely disrupt a charity event, assuming that it was being done in good faith. I'll tell you that right now. Compared to every detractor I've ever seen, DSP is more toxic than every single one of them by a significant amount. They have no personal benefit in ruining his charity stream. If anything, they would ruin his marathon streams, his feasting with the king streams. They would have significantly more motivation to fuck with him for those streams. Why don't they do it for those? Why would they target a charity stream? Several detractors give money to charity in this public-facing sort of way, right? They have charity events and that sort of thing in which they raise money for charities. So this entire attack on these invisible people that don't exist, again, it's there to convince the truly indoctrinated of his pay pigs to essentially just buy into this idea that he is never going to be someone who should be responsible for giving, but only receiving. This is recorded in mid-December, when people should apparently be festive, full of holiday joy, as DSP would describe. So keep that in mind.
I was of the impression that maybe it was a temporary thing. I don't know if it was just a particular group of people who had a bug up their ass about me at that time or whatever. But I was like, I'm just going to keep doing my thing. I'm just going to keep moving on. I'm going to keep making streams. I'm going to keep having fun with games. We'll keep it going. And over time, hopefully, things will die out. Hopefully, the hatred against me, whatever this is, like I said, vitriol or whatever it may be, will die out. And eventually, I will be able to do a charity event again.
That will never be the case in his head. The level of trolling and toxicity that he's describing probably never existed, but it certainly doesn't exist now. The detractors that exist currently they just watch this dude completely fall apart, like I'm doing right now. The level of trolling that he's describing doesn't target him. He's not a lolcow like Wings, who gets significantly fucked with in a personal sort of way for the most part. The bank leaks, the read only access of his bank account, no spending done at all. Twitch leaks, which involved him, but involved everybody on Twitch. Bankruptcy documents, which were public, that sort of thing. No, he's living nice and comfy in his condo in Washington. So Super Crazy talked about this idea of when's the next hurdle, DSP, and this falls right into that. You know, oh, I'll start doing charity events once the trolls die down. I'll just I'll keep my head down, and eventually it'll go away. No, you'll never drop the trolls. You benefit from having what you consider trolls around, because they shield you from any sort of ethical responsibility, because you can shift blame for any of the just awful things that you do onto them in some sort of twisted way, when essentially every single time it's a personal decision by you out of greed or laziness or narcissism. And it'll never be at a point where you're willing to behave like a good person, because the trolls will always be there even when we're not here anymore. You need us here, and so you will always keep us around in one way or another.
And I hate to say it, things never died down. They are just worse, right? Like, seriously. Over the years, I had to completely stop doing fan interaction events because the trolls would always infest them and ruin them. I had to stop doing so many things that I enjoyed doing because of trolling and because of really fucked up things that have happened to myself and my family and people involved with me behind the scenes that I don't even really talk about. You guys don't know. You guys literally do not know the half of the level of trolling that me and my family have gone through. Okay, and there's no point in even bringing up specifically the stuff, because all that does is encourage you to do it worse. You see, so I don't talk about it. But when that much shit happens to me all the time, I realize if I were to ever try to do a charity event, it would not work. It would be constantly about trolling, constantly about making it fail for just to make me be miserable or look bad, rather than the fact that I'm trying to do something for the greater good and help people. You see? So I decided that any charity work that I'm going to do in the future will be me doing it privately behind the scenes. And basically it'll be between me and whatever I'm doing. You know what I mean? Like, it will not ever be something public, because I don't feel like I would ever be able to successfully do anything public because of that level of fucked up stuff that's happened in my life and continues to happen to this day. Now, it's funny because, as I've told you, personally, when I do charity stuff, when I do it, which, by the way, again, no one's business what I do, how much I do, etc. Okay? But the trolls have literally gone out of their way to slander me, despite the fact that I haven't done a charity event. They have slandered me and said stuff like Phil never does charity and stuff. Why? Because here's what happened.
It's not slander if it's true, by the way.
Okay, last year I filed for bankruptcy, and well, actually it was more than a year ago. But my whole bankruptcy thing went through and ended up going public. When you have a bankruptcy procedure that goes through, a lot of your private information gets made public. And so the trolls looked at all my private information and they're like, we don't see any evidence that Phil ever claimed anything charitable on his taxes and shit, and therefore he's never done any charity ever, right? And so that's it. And then in their minds, this is now evidence that Phil has never done charity ever in his life. He's a terrible person. Everything is for him. He's greedy and blah, blah, blah. In reality, there's criteria that you can do things like a charitable write-off or things like that, all right? And one of two things: either the things that I've done just didn't qualify, or I just don't bother gathering that information and trying to get a positive benefit from it. Because like I told you guys, in the past, when I do charity, I don't do anything in it to benefit me. I'm not doing a charitable thing to get a tax write-off. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing it because it's the right thing to do.
I want to talk about the topic of tax write-offs, because a DSP describes it as this huge benefit that you'll get. He's essentially making this implication that giving money to charity will result in some sort of net income for you, which anyone who knows about how taxes work would know that that's completely wrong, regardless of your income bracket. So I'm just gonna run the math through. It'll be a pretty simple one. So this calculator here will calculate your expected federal tax liability for, I believe, 2021. It's kind of irrelevant. It's going to be just simple numbers, and it should help hopefully illustrate this point. All right, so we're going to take a baseline example of someone who doesn't donate to charity and compare it to someone who does donate to charity. We have a control person who earns an income for the year of $100,000. Okay, so this is his gross income earned. Nice even number. Now this person, we're going to have them take the standard deduction. They're not going to give any money to charity. They're going to keep their $100,000, and they're going to take the standard deduction, the federal standard deduction, and the amount that they're going to owe to the federal government in taxes afterwards is going to be minus $15,067. So what they have after this is going to be their net income after federal income tax. Okay, we're going to have 100,000 minus 15,067. That's going to be $84,933. So the control person has this much money after paying taxes. Okay, let's take a second person, and this person is going to donate to charity, and they're going to take the tax write-off that DSP is unwilling to for some reason, and we'll see how much money they end up with, because again, DSP seems to be implying that when you take a tax write-off, there's just this amazing benefit that is like super duper scummy, and in fact, taking the tax write-off, you might end up with more money somehow. He didn't say that, but honestly, the way he was talking it up, it kind of comes off that way. So let's take a look here. So we have this person who earned a $100,000 gross income. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to itemize deductions. We're going to say that this person took 10,000 of that and donated it to charity. So by doing so, they're going to add $10,000 to what they can deduct. So it's going to be the 12,550, and we'll add $10,000 to that. So with that in mind, his taxable income has decreased by $10,000, right? If we switch this to standard deduction, you'll see that his taxable income increases by 10,000, so we'll decrease it by 10,000. And so person B, who donated to charity, will have a tax liability of $12,829. Let's go and put those numbers in. Now, remember, he took 10,000 of that money that he earned and he gave it away to charity. So this is the amount of money he has left over. And so we're going to subtract that by his new tax liability, which is going to be less because he has less taxable income. Okay. And then we'll see how much he has left over. So 90,000 minus $12,829. Well, would you look at that? They've got $77,171 left over. So this person gave $10,000 to charity. They lowered their tax liability by, about $2,000 and some odd dollars, and they're still several $1,000s in the hole compared to person A who didn't give to charity. There's no problem taking a tax deduction that you've earned by donating to charity under the laws of the federal government. There's absolutely no issue doing that, and the fact that he's trying to claim some sort of moral high ground by not doing it is absolutely ridiculous. It's more indicative to me, at least, that he just doesn't give to charity, and he's spinning yarn that is a complete falsehood. So hopefully that makes sense. What we have in front of us is DSP's public bankruptcy petition, and on this bankruptcy petition, in Schedule J, which outlines his expenses, he had to input what his expected kind of monthly expenses would be. And under line 14, charitable contributions and religious donations, he listed 0. So this is what he's referring to. So again, it's not slander if it's true. DSP doesn't donate. Oh, but wait, what did he say? He said that, oh no, I essentially do donate, but either A, it doesn't meet the qualifications of a charitable donation, in which case he's not donating to charity, by the way. If he's giving money to charity, to a qualified tax-exempt charitable organization, that can be written off because I guarantee you he's itemizing his deductions. So that is certainly not it. The second thing would be that he just doesn't write it off. So he's giving some unknown sum of money to charitable organizations or organization or something, but he just doesn't write it off. Now, I want you to look at his bankruptcy. He had there were two major documents. There was the bankruptcy petition, and then there was the monthly income and expenses statement. And in this one, he had to list between July of 2019 to the end of December 2019 what his income and expenses were for his business. So this was specifically for the business, Burnell Productions or Burnell Enterprises or whatever it is, right? So he lists his income here, which is about what we'd expect. He earns anywhere from 9,000 to, at this point, 12, 13,000 per month. But look at his expenses, okay? These are his business expenses. So the IRS categorizes a business expense as something that's necessary for the operation of the business or profession, right? So there are certain criteria that would qualify for a business expense. Now, whether you're a detractor or someone who genuinely likes DSP, I want you to look at these expenses. And I want you to try to rationalize yourself how he can possibly have this much expenses for his business specifically, okay? You can't put your mortgage as a business expense. You can put your PMI or your mortgage insurance specifically under that, which is not this much. It's a very, very small amount in comparison. You can put some of your utilities, perhaps his business internet line, that sort of thing. But how many games does he buy in a month? How many consoles does he buy in a month? How much does he spend on his business in a month? He can't even buy a $30 green screen and write that off as an expense. So you're telling me that this person who puts about $5,000 in guaranteed fraudulent business expenses on his bankruptcy petition, he would donate to charity and not just stick it on there as well on his private returns. He would. I guarantee you he would scrape every penny that he could in terms of write-offs because it's extremely easy to do so. In fact, he pays an accountant to do it for him, several $1,000s a year, I might add. And so his accountant, all he says is, give me your receipts and I'll put them all together and file it for you. And that's it. If he donated $500 to Doctors Without Borders, all he needs to do is send that receipt to his accountant and bada bing, bada boom. It's written off. Okay? No sane person, regardless of their moral compass, would need to take some sort of moral high ground to not write off a charitable donation. It's written in the tax code for a very specific reason. If he's going to go that far, he might as well not write anything off. Where does he draw the line exactly? It's not within his character to just, not get money back, especially considering how little he likes to pay his taxes. Quite frankly, he's full of shit. It's pretty unreal that he decided to go this route. Anyway, let's take a look at the rest, shall we?
And so if I donate or I do a charitable thing, I do it to do the right thing and to do something nice. So I'm not going to look for a personal benefit or a way that I'm going to get that. Like, I've never done, I'll be honest, even though I have definitely done charity over the years that I've been a YouTuber and made money and stuff, I've never done a tax write-off for anything that I've done. I personally don't feel that that's right. That's my personal belief. You completely disagree and say, oh, well, you should just take every advantage you possibly can. As you guys know, I have some weird philosophies and things. I don't cut corners. I don't try to take shortcuts in my YouTube career and stuff like that. I've never really played the whole, abuse a thumbnail and do clickbait title and do this and that. I've always been a different animal when it comes to my content and the kind of person that I am.
The person that you're watching right now will put on glasses for $50. He will put on a hat for $100. And he'll put on a vest for $150. And he expects this twice a day for stream day. So he's totally not looking at the whole picture when he's going down this line. And I also want to point out that, he did a very small backtrack. He went back onto the fence because he needed to do that, honestly. I have weird beliefs. You can choose to think it's right or wrong, or, I don't cut corners. It's like, no, dude, you need to stay focused here. We're asking a specific question about charitable donations. I just hope it's as obvious to everybody else as it is to me just how completely full of shit he is. It's pretty apparent, hopefully. So
All right, that's just me. That's just me. Okay, you can disagree and say, "Oh, I should have taken advantage and I should have done this and that." You're okay. You're fine. That's okay. If you disagree and you think that you should take those opportunities, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to say you're wrong. I'm just going to say that's not me. All right. But the hilarious part of all of this is because of the level of fucked up stuff that happened to me that year, and I had to cancel the whole charity event that I had planned for it. Okay, it was all canceled. I contacted everyone. I said, it's not worth it. You know what's going to happen. These people are just going to harass me further. They're going to harass you because you're trying to be involved in my charity event. You're going to get harassed now. So I just canceled the whole thing. And personally, you know, I did stuff behind the scenes myself that I wanted to do for charity that year. But because I never claimed it on taxes, according to the shithead trolls, I've never done charity ever in my life. You know what? Here's the truth. I don't care what you think. I don't fucking give two shits. I do what I do. I can sleep at night knowing, you know, who I am as a person and my philosophies and things and ways that I go about myself. And that's that. So you will never, ever, I know this is a very long-winded answer for your question, Cracker Jack. You won't see me doing a charity event like that. Maybe one day in the future, if dramatically things improve when it comes to the level of trolling that I
when's the next hurdle? When's it going to be?
receive on the internet, okay? Maybe if there is a monstrous shift in attitude again towards me, and people finally would actually support something like that and not mess with it and not fuck with it and ruin it for the parties involved, then maybe I would consider it. But as you've seen, things have not gotten any better. They've just gotten worse over the years. I've had to purposely put protections in place to make sure that things don't get fucked up for me. And therefore, I would not be able to successfully do any kind of a charity event, I don't feel at all. I don't think it would ever go down properly. It would just cause more problems than anything that it would help. So therefore, why poke the hornet's nest, right? Instead, if I'm going to do charity, I'll do it myself behind the scenes, and that's that. So there is your answer, Cracker Jacks. I hope that makes sense, and I hope that that is a satisfactory answer for you. I know I had to do a lot of explaining of background there for it to make sense, and there you go.
So while this entire rant was happening, I was hanging out in almighty Frogas' stream. Please sub to him if you have not already. He's an excellent streamer. And, you know, we all got to enjoy this rant together. I want you to listen to Frogas' thoughts about it, because I think they're pretty apt. And they summarize what I think is the most reasonable way to approach this subject that DSP spent a significant amount of time kind of rambling about, when really it's kind of simple.
Let me give you my philosophy on charity. Even if you're trying to like benefit from doing charity, even if you're trying to make like, if you're trying to get clout or whatever, it doesn't matter. As long as you're donating the fucking money that you're fucking like, as long as you're giving the money to charity, who cares? Who cares if the person gets clout? If it's helping people live, survive, then who gives a fuck? Who cares if they get clout? This is just him and his being upset at anyone that's like famous or making money coming out. Like who cares, dude? If someone raises $1 million for charity and they get popular because of that, who gives a fuck? Why does he has to bitch and moan about it? Phil does not seem like the type of person that donates to charity at all. He just doesn't give a fuck about other people. He only cares about himself. We got your bank documents. And it said, yeah, you didn't give anything to charity. It's so. What could the trolls possibly do to him if he did a charity event? What could we do to ruin his charity event? What could we do? Nothing. He's never done a charity event because the truth is he's the charity. He expects people to give him all the money in the world. He gets upset when he makes the same amount of money, $100,000 a year. People will give. He needs more money. He needs growth every year. Realistically speaking, how much money do you think Phil wants from just being a content creator? How much money do you think he would want optimally? 200,000, 500,000? How much money do you think he really wants?
So one of the reasons this rant was particularly annoying to me was because of his insistence that anybody crowdsourcing or advertising a charity was somebody looking for clout, or they were doing it with some sort of negative intention. And again, there are many detractors that do it, and I happen to be one of them. I have a charity that I advertise for the Best Friends Animal Society. It's under the header of Jasper's Angels, kind of created mockingly, but to a good cause. And all the money that I've raised goes to the Best Friends Animal Society, which is an excellent charity. I don't monetize my content. That's my choice to do so. And I don't do this for any other reason other than sometimes people feel in a giving mood, and I'd rather that money go somewhere that it can do some good. I have a good job and I earn a good income from it, and I would prefer that other people's money that was earned at their jobs goes to benefit somebody other than me. And clout doesn't mean anything to me because, again, I don't have any monetization active on my channel. Ass pats are great, I guess, but at the end of the day, they're just ass pats. So this insane notion of his that anybody who has any sort of charity crowdfunding is illogical to me. So I wanted to round this one off by showing what happened shortly after that entire conversation. So if you look at the top right, he's at $2 of tips total. This was at about 8:30 or so. And I'm going to present this to you without any additional context. I don't even need to comment on it. Based on everything you just listened to, how he described himself as a person and all that, I just want you to listen to what happens after that. And that's all you need to know.
What we'll do is we'll fast travel over there, and we're going to check it out. Cool. All right, guys, so I stopped recording that part for YouTube. Two quick things. I have to pee really quick. So I'm going to pee quickly, and then I'm going to do a tweet. Yes, obviously I'm doing a tweet, guys. We've been streaming for over an hour and a half, and I have $2 that we've made tonight. 2. That's not good. Just so you guys know, that's really bad. Just going to be honest here. So hopefully we can improve in the next hour. I'll be playing for about 1 more hour. I don't know if we'll beat it tonight, considering that race was half an hour long. And there's like 4 left or 3 left, 3 or 4 left. We'll see. But guys, give me a minute to use the bathroom. I'll be right back, and then I'm going to tweet, and hopefully we'll get more support. I'll be right back. I didn't unmute the mic. I was like, you guys aren't going to be able to hear me. All right, guys, give me just a sec to send out a quick tweet. All right. We are having a chill time on what may be the conclusion stream of Forza Horizon 5. 3 big races left, and then the game is done. However, this is the lowest support I've had on a stream all year, so it would be great if you could swing by. Thanks. Can't type. Okay. Alright, I sent out the tweet. Doesn't mean anything's gonna happen, right? But hopefully something will. It certainly would be nice to finish the game and not have it be the worst supported stream of the entire year. I'm just saying, okay? Alright, are we ready to continue?